Hey, welcome back to Qwest. Hey, today I wanted to take the time to show you how to rewrite equations, which is one of the most important skills when you're working on algebra. Because sometimes they'll tell you to solve for something, but the equation that they gave you is not written in that format. So you need to rewrite the equation before you can begin solving for whatever it is that they wanted you to solve. So without further ado, let's get started. So here's our first one, 5x plus 3y equals 15. Now, in this particular one, notice I don't have any instructions on whether they told me, hey, solve for x or solve for y. When they tell you that, for instance, if this particular one said solve for, and I don't know, let's just say they said solve for x, which is a common one, solve for x. They're telling you, hey, get x by itself or find the value of x, right? And same difference if they said solve for y. Okay, get y by itself, all right, so before you can begin to use the formula. So in this case, I don't know as I'm looking at it. Either one, it doesn't matter. So let's just solve for y since that's the common one, or x. Maybe they want you to solve for y so you can solve for x, right? All right, so here we go. Let's solve for y, which means let's get y by itself. All right, great. Let's see, let's use an orange color. So if I'm gonna get y by itself, what I want to do is first get everything away from y. Get everything away. I want to isolate it, basically. So I'm going to begin by moving the 5x to the other side, and I simply do it by subtracting it. Now, if this 5x was actually a negative 5x, then I would add it to both sides, right? But since it's a positive, I'm going to go ahead and subtract it from both sides. So minus 5x here, minus 5x here. Now, pay attention, don't get tripped up here. This right here actually becomes 0, which means on this side, and when I say on this side, I mean on this side of the equal sign. On this side of the equal sign, all I have left here now is my 3y. I have my equal sign. Now, don't make the mistake of trying to get 15 minus 5x. Don't do that. It's a common mistake that people make when they're learning this. Remember, 15 is just a constant, and 5x is my coefficient. They're different terms. I cannot subtract one from the other. So I'm just going to rewrite them horizontally next to each other. So here, that's going to become a minus 5x. And that's a positive 15, so I'm going to write plus 15. Now, common question. Could I have rewritten the 15 first minus 5x? Yeah, you could have. It doesn't change the value. It still maintains its value. All right? Now, that was our first step. Here, we have not gotten the y by itself. We need to get it by itself. So what do we do with the 3? Well, ask yourself, what is happening here? We have 3 times the y. So we must use inverse operations, which is really what I did over here. Since this was positive, I subtracted. This is multiplication, so I'm going to divide, right? So I'm going to divide here by 3. Not the 3y, just the 3, because I want the y to stay here by itself. And remember, whatever I do to one side, you must do it to the other. So to everything else, I divided all by 3. All right? Here on this side, this is going to become 1, which is 1y. There's my 1y. And this 5 over 3, stop. Put the calculator down, people. Most people like to change this into a decimal and leave it alone. That's an improper fraction, and that's perfectly fine. You can leave it the way it is. So I'm just going to rewrite it. Minus 5 over 3x plus, now this one right here, I can't simplify it, which is 15 over 3, which is 15 divided by 3. So 15 divided by 3 equals 5. So therefore, that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is my final answer. Y equals negative 5 over 3x plus 5. Now, let's get the next one here. We have 4n equals 3n minus 1. So let me take a look here because I wrote them down here. What did I want to solve for? We're going to solve for m on this one. So let's get let's get the green color. And let's say, hey, we're going to solve for m. That means we want to get m by itself. If you feel confident, go ahead and pause the video, try it, and then watch me go through the steps, all right? So go ahead. So here we go. I'm going to use, let's use a red color. I like using a variety of colors. I just like it. All right. We're going to get m by itself. So let's get everything away from m. So right here, we're going to start by doing plus 1. Here, this becomes a 0. On this side of the equal sign, I have 3m. I rewrite my equal sign. And remember, I cannot subtract 4n plus 1 or add 4n plus 1. I'm just going to rewrite them horizontally next to each other. So that's basically 4n plus 1. All right? Now, I haven't solved for m yet. M has to be completely by itself. So notice it's being multiplied 3 times m. So let's go ahead and divide everything here by 3, here by 3, and here by 3. All right? This right here is going to give me m by itself equaling. Now this right here is 1/3, and leave it as 1/3, people. There's my plus sign, it's still plus, and there's 4n over 3, and I'm just going to leave that as 4n over 3. That's it. I'm not going to simplify anything any further. It's already in simplest form. People think that when they change it to a decimal, they've simplified it more. No, you did not. You just changed the way it looks, right? A different format. A different number system. So not same number system, but anyway, into a decimal. Leave them as fractions, please, because that's the correct answer. Now, once again, could I have gotten, could I have gotten here 1/3 plus 4n over 3? Yeah, I could have. I don't need to. You can rewrite it to whatever makes sense to you visually. All right, so that's the next one. Here's the third one. What I want you to do is I want you to go ahead, pause the video, try this out on your own. Don't forget about the simple skills. Right here, you're going to need to use the distributive property. That's the only extra step besides these other ones that we did here. All right? So go ahead, give it a shot, and then come right back. So I assume you already tried it. So here we go. Let's go through the steps here. I like this other color I used earlier. Notice here, we have R and S. What did I want to solve for? It looks like I'm going to solve. Oh, yeah, I didn't tell you what to solve for. Hey, if you manage to solve for R or S, you're fine, because I forgot what to tell you. So here we're going to solve for, let's solve for R, right? That means let's get R by itself. So let's do that. Okay, first, I'm going to simplify it a bit. So I'm going to use the distributive property here by multiplying here. And that's 4 times R is 4R minus 12S equals R minus 5S. Notice that I just rewrote this down here. I didn't do anything with this, so I just rewrote it. Every time I do something, I solve a little something, I simplify something, I rewrite everything to see what I have left. Now, again, we're solving for R. We want R by itself. So let's get, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this 12S here, and I'll do the steps in different colors. So we're going to add this time. Notice that it's a minus 12S. So we're going to do the opposite, which is plus 12S to both sides. So plus 12S plus 12S. There we go. We simplify that. That becomes a 0. So now I have a 4R equals R. Now this, they are both S's. 5 S's and 12 S's. The 5 S's are negative. So I'm actually going to subtract 12 and 5. So basically 12 minus 5, which is 7. So that's going to be a positive 7S. That's what I have left. Okay, got a step closer now to getting R by itself. All right, now let's go ahead and subtract R from both sides. That way I get it away from here. Now on this side of the equal sign, I just have 7S. I don't like using S's. It looks like a 5. Anyway, here's my equal sign, and I have 4 R's minus 1 R. Think about it that way. I have 4 R's, and I'm taking away an R, which is going to leave me with 3 R's. So 3R. All right, we're almost there. Now, let's use a different color here for another step, which is my last step because I wanted to solve for R, get R by itself. Notice 3 times R, so we're going to divide by 3 and divide here by 3. So here we have R equaling 7/3. Now here's the question here. See this S here? You can leave it right next to the 7, or you can put it right there next to the entire fraction. It doesn't matter. It's still the same value. So at this point, I am done. How do I know that I'm done? Because they wanted me here in the beginning to solve for R. And notice, I have R by itself. It's by itself here. So once I do that, then I've accomplished what they wanted me to do. All right? If you're in Algebra 2, then they're going to tell you that S has a value of something, so they want you to find a final answer other than just rewriting it. Okay? So hopefully that is making sense to you. I wanted to show you this last one here. This is a common formula. Notice they gave me a formula of D equals R times T. That is distance equals rate times time. Now, why is this? This is a very common and very popular formula because maybe they're going to give you the value of, I don't know, time, and they want you to solve for the rate, and you need to know how to rewrite this, or they're going to give you whatever it is, and you need to know how to rewrite the formula to solve for a particular value. When it's all variables, this is where people get stuck. They're like, well, I don't have any numbers. How do I solve for a letter? Yeah, a variable. Well, simple. Follow the same steps you just did before with the variables. So let's start with the first one. And let's say that on the first one, they want us to solve for, let's say, T. Let's say T. So we're going to get T by itself. All right? All right, let's get to it. If I'm going to get T by itself, notice I have rate times time. That means if I multiply the rate times the time, it's going to give me the value of the distance, what the distance is. So now I want T by itself. So I need to get the R away from it. So I'm going to divide here by R, divide here by R. So let's clean it up. Here on this side of the equal sign, I have T. And on this side, I have D over R. Am I done? Yes, I'm done. I needed to solve for T. That means to get the T by itself. So there it is. Time equals the distance divided by the rate. That means if I divide distance by rate, it'll give me the value of time. Hopefully this is making sense to you. Let's try another one. We're going to go back to the original. Well, yeah, let's go back to the original here. And let's say that we had, can I scroll down? Yeah, I can. Let's say now this is still my formula D. It doesn't matter what it is. I just want to take it from the first one to show you that I can solve for any variable, or you can solve for any variable. And we solve for T. This one is already solved for D. So let's go ahead and solve for R. Well, I would do the same thing that I did before. Now I'm going to divide. If I'm going to solve for R, then I'm going to divide here by T and divide here by T. Therefore, giving me R by itself equaling distance over time. So that means that if I want to find the rate, all I need to do is divide the distance by the time, and I have my rate. If I wanted to find time, then I divide distance by the rate, and it gives me time. And the original formula was how to find distance, which was basically to multiply the rate times the time. All right, those are going to be popular. I believe you use it. I know you use it a lot in Algebra 2. And this formula, by the way, we've used it in Algebra, but you'll use it more in Algebra 2. You'll use it in sometimes in geometry, but most commonly, you'll use it when you're taking these robotics classes, when you're using stuff that you actually have to figure out real world problems. All right. Hey, I hope you took notes, and I hope you got value out of this video. And if you did, come on, hit the like and subscribe button. All right. And I'll see you next time on Math Quest. Goodbye.